celebrating Uncle Lou! Well, good morning, and that. It's Uncle Lou here. That's right, it's me, Uncle Lou. Live for you on LouTube today.
Who the hell is Pinecone?
I don't know. Pinecone is dead to me. Pinecone is dead to me. It doesn't bring me any joy to say that, but he just wouldn't listen to reason. Sorry, Pinecone. It is what it is. Anyway, how you guys doing this morning? Appreciate y'all tuning in to the morning shoe. Sorry about yesterday. If you saw the post I put up, having some internet issues. Just leave it at that. But anyway, back today. So, and we're going to make up for yesterday. We got Scott Kerr. He's on the line now, so we're going to have him come on and do the fake news, which, of course, should have been yesterday. That's my fault, not his. And Chess Hall said he was coming on this morning, too, but we all know how that goes. And there's some college football news, too, we'll get to. But let's get to Scott right away, as he's been patiently waiting. Scott Kerr.
Good morning, Lou.
Morning, sir.
How was your visit to Mount Pleasant and the Charleston surrounding area?
I would have no way of knowing. They canceled the tournament. They canceled the tournament.
You kid? Oh man, you're kidding.
I was in my driveway pulling out, and Mrs. Lou came running outside, waving her arms around. I rolled the window down, and she said, "They just canceled the tournament." They said,
did they give you any reason?
They said the fields were too wet. It wasn't going to be raining on Saturday or Sunday, but said they had 7 inches of rain the previous 5 days, and the fields were too wet. Afraid they'd tear them up.
Well, I agree with that, because it has been nothing but rain here in the Low Country for the past weeks. So I could see that. Well, sorry you missed the opportunity to come here, but will they make it up?
I don't think they make these tournaments up, because all of these teams have these tournaments scheduled months in advance. So I don't think it'll be made up. It's just on to the next tournament now. He does have a game this coming weekend here in town. It's not a tournament. He just has a game here in town this Saturday morning. So hopefully we'll get that in. But I felt especially, anytime your kid's game or whatever gets canceled, you feel bad. But this was his first one, so I felt especially bad. Yeah, but he took it like a champ, though. He was all right.
And lastly, don't you think that Comcast should be a curse word in the Merriam-Webster dictionary?
I've been saying this about Comcast for a long time. I have swore Comcast off so many times in my life, and somehow I end up back with them. Now, I have managed to stay away from them on the TV side, and I stayed away from them on the internet side too for a long time until I started doing this full time, and I had to go back to them because the only other internet services available in this area are so bad. Now, their customer service is way better than Comcast. That's my main issue with Comcast. Like, I think Comcast does offer the best service. The best product. But the problem is, like I said in the video, the problem is that they know that, and so they have no reason really to treat you well, because 9 times out of 10 people are going to come back eventually. And when I started doing this full time, you think I have internet problems now? You should have been around here 3 or 4 years ago when I had, what was it? It was called Wow Internet or something like that. It was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
AT&T is available in the Evans area, but not in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know. What I want is fiber. I want Google Fiber or something. I want, or even AT&T Uverse I would take, but we don't. That's not available anywhere here yet. So I'm stuck with Comcast for now.
Well, see, that's I had the same problems, Lou. I've got a friend who lives in Cherry Hill. Okay, Comcast the home of Comcast is Philadelphia, and he has problems all the freaking time with Comcast. I used to do online demonstrations to show my product. I'd be right in the middle of it, and boom, Comcast will go out. Intermittently, might come back in 15, 20 minutes, but I just lost the sale. And after, I guess, several years of that, I said, to hell with Comcast. And I went to AT&T. And I've been with AT&T for 11 years. Twice I've had problems with them, and it hasn't been their fault. One was the road crew dug up the wire, and the second was my idiot neighbor did not do the 411 and find out where his lines and pipes are, almost electrocuted himself trying to dig a pool in the backyard and cut my AT&T line. And when the technicians came, I said, "Are you guys going to make him pay?" We said, "We certainly hope so."
Yeah.
So anyway, well, I'm glad you're back. You and Pigskin Pete were terrific last night, and
that was a fun show last night. Yeah,
it was. And I'm looking. I saw the odds on. I guess those were the odds that you showed earlier on the Slob Olympics. Is that what it was?
Yeah. What it is I sat down and made a list of how I thought everybody would finish 1 through 16. Pete did the same thing. I didn't know what Pete's list was. He didn't know what my list was. And then last night on the show, I gave my list. He gave his list. We averaged our two lists together, and that's where the odds come from. So, like when you see the odds that say, like Lou third, I had myself fourth. Pete had me finishing third. So that's an average of 3.5, which ended up being the third best odds. So that's how I ended up at third. We both had D4 winning. So that's how he got first. I had Pete in, I had Pete in second, and Pete also had himself in second. So anyway, that's how the odds work. We just, I had a list, he had a list, we averaged them together, and this is what the list looks like when we averaged our two lists together. So yeah, that's where that comes from.
Well, I wish you guys the best. I wish I could have made it to the Slob Olympics this year, but maybe next year I will be there. I'd love to just hang out and be a participant if nothing else. Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm pleasantly surprised that we have this many people coming, so I'm excited about it. It's going to be a good time.
Good. Well, it's a good idea. I mean, to get all the YouTubers together and you guys can talk about the aches and pains of, I guess, being a YouTuber. I want to ask you one more thing and just mention one more thing. Have you heard of an app called Stereo?
No.
You have? No. Okay. You were shaking your head, and I didn't know if that was okay. Look at it and tell me what you think. It's an app where like you and Pete could get on and schedule a time and talk about sports. And for every person that follows you, you get $10.
Stereo is the name of it?
Yeah, Stereo, like, stereo recorder.
Okay.
But, you might investigate a little bit more and see if it's worth your while.
Yeah.
One of our syndicated shows is doing it, and they made some money this past Friday. Now,
I'll look into it.
2.5 million listeners. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen. No, without further ado, it's been a while. I will promise you, I will get in the. I watched that OU.
Let me get all up in there good.
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Oh my God.
I hit this.
Sorry.
I hit the camel toes stinger on accident.
Oh my God. Yeah. He is the nastiest individual. What is wrong with that guy?
He has 7 mental illnesses. That's what's.
7?
That's what he says. I don't know.
That does count 7. I think he needs to go to the doctor and see if there's more. Oh my, he is a nutcase. And how is he even on YouTube?
I don't know.
And I saw what he did to you and everything else, and shame on him.
Yeah.
Shame on him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, without further ado, it's time for Lou 2 Fake News, and here is the news fit to be only on the Uncle Lou channel. According to Dabo Swinney's wife, Kathleen Bassett, Dabo has been waking up in night sweats screaming, JT Daniels Christ, and has urinated in his bed nearly every other night. Damn, stated Kathleen, I can't have enough Tide Pods to clean up his mess every week. Since the 2021 schedule has been announced and that Georgia is first on the roster to play, Swinney has been acting very erratic. His doctor told him to stop wearing the orange shirts and jerseys for a while, but that color can make you dizzy and nauseous. But in one instance, a neighborhood dog was defecating in his yard, and Dabo brought out his pistol to destroy the animal. Damn dogs want to shit in my yard, retorted Dabo. An assistant coach reminded him that the dogs aren't shitting in his yard, but they will shit all over him in Charlotte for the first game. According to an anonymous source, Gus Malzahn was offered the UCF job just in the nick of time before he was going to bash himself to death with his 2017 Iron Bowl trophy. He came out of his home disheveled and smelled like he hadn't bathed in weeks and stated to the press, "Someone likes me. They really, really like me." Gus is being paid $2.3 million a year for a 5-year deal. But this fake news reporter found out UCF could have gotten Malzahn for a ham sandwich and a can of sardines. Gus stated he will be making all the offensive calls at UCF. Because of that, he has called in the Harlem Globetrotters, although a basketball team, to come give him a lesson in trick plays for the 2021 season. More details on this story as it develops. Bucket of confetti thrown at the fans. Wow. Although not fired from the Florida Gators yet, Dan Mullen is looking at other options, including going to Clown College, a clown school called Clowns Without Borders in Wetumpka, Alabama, is looking over Mullen's application, but haven't given him an acceptance letter yet. Dan says he knows he would be a great clown since he's performed like one most of his career. Dressed as Elmer Fudd at a recent press conference. Mullen tried and failed several times to tie a balloon into a dog. His costume also began to fill with flop sweat from Mullen's pores. He finally gave up, jumped up and yelled, "I'm going to hunt wabbits," and ran off the stage. All press members agree that whether Mullen is accepted in the school or not, he is a clown. After leaving the Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford said he's had enough of the now NFL teams and would like to expand a team into Orlando and make it all former Georgia players. Of course, they would be the Orlando Bulldogs. Stafford at quarterback, Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, Todd Gurley, and yes, even Herschel Walker as running backs, A.J. Green, Chris Conley, and Mecole Hardman as wide receivers, Charlie Warner as tight end, Rodrigo Blankenship as kicker, and other defensive and offensive players such as Geno Atkins, Lorenzo Carter, and Raheem Smith. One press member during the conference mentioned Jake Fromm, in which Stafford replied, "Who? Oh, Jake from State Farm. Now not needed." Stafford said that he would like to beat the living hell out of all the teams, and once they win the Lombardi Trophy, find Tom Brady and throw it right at his head. And Luton Fake News is being brought to you by Jizz Fashion Stores. Now wear Jizz on your jeans, dress or blouse all day and impress your friends and colleagues. Jizz Men's Fashions has Jizz jackets, shoes, and dress shirts with that Jizz look all over. Check out the men's aftershave. Place Jizz all over your face. Look for the eBay store. And coming soon, baby batter fashion for toddlers up to 6 years old. Little children will love their look in baby batter. Jizz fashion. Wear our Jizz all over all the time. Please come and visit our store today. And by our friends, Hell's Angels Bar and Goose Creek. Everyone is out of jail, so it's time for a pagan party. Old ladies mud wrestling, the longest spark contest. Gassy Charlie holds that record in 32 seconds. Bike chain fighting, a dance-off to the music of Steppenwolf. Motorcycle derby crashing, Gamecock fighting, real players from the South Carolina Gamecocks. Glass shard bopping, and a concert by the band Boogie Whip. Then a large dinner gathering at Big Dick Grinch's Mystery Pie. That's when whatever's left in the slightly damaged freezer is thrown in a large piece of aluminum foil and burned over the oil can grill. There have been reports of beef tripe, tilapia, hot dogs, neck bones, chitlins, beanie weenies, venison, rattlesnake, and possum as part of the ingredients. Most people have the munchies, so they gobble it right up. And now is recruitment time for the Hells Angels. If you have a legitimate BILO card, a working motorcycle, know how to steal a catalytic converter off of a car in the dead of night, and have been incarcerated a minimum of 3 times, DUIs do not count, you can apply to be an outlaw at Hells Angels Bar, just before Stumpy's Firecracker Stand on Highway 78 in Goose Creek. And that is the fake news for the week, only on the LuTube channel. You need schooling, and baby, I'm not fooling. Scott Kerr reporting.
Mystery pie?
Yes, the big Chef Big Dishes mystery pie.
Okay, I guess the modern day fruitcake, mystery pie.
Except when you got beef tripe and chitlins and neck bones included, that's a lot to gobble up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to disappoint you. No, I wanted to get back Hells Angels Bar, you know. Had to go have a conversation with them after they got out of jail.
You know, Hells Angels Bar will always have a special place in my heart as the first official sponsor of the UNCLELOU fake news, you know.
Of course they will be. Yeah. You know, of course. I mean, you know, they're you know. Listen, I hope they do, and I hope they don't listen to this, because if they do, they could sue me, or they could do a cease and desist, or if they do, they might get the joke of it. You know, that it's all in jest.
Or they could find you and murder you and leave you for dead somewhere.
No, well, they could, but that's not the case. I read up on Hells Angels. You know, this day and age, they are such a big association. I mean, they're worldwide, Hells Angels,
right.
That they do not, for what they call me, a square, a citizen, they do not, they do not go violent on a square, okay? They would sue me.
Gotcha.
Okay, cease and desist or something like that. But I'm not worried. I mean, like I said, they were founded in 1976. I'm thinking they're pretty old over there. You know, they're all waiting for their COVID vaccine shots over there at Hells Angels Bar.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll have to take your word for it that the Hells Angels have somehow turned a new leaf. I don't know. I don't know. No. I'm not saying that. They're outlaws, man. They've always been outlaws. Okay. No, I'm not. I just don't. What I've read, okay, because I did read a lot before I started doing this about Hells Angels, is that me as a citizen, they, as far as using their name, they would sue you and say, don't do that anymore, or using their trademark. You can't do that. If you use their trademark, man, they'd come after you hard and heavy. But I think doing something in jest, because it was just like in 1979, when we had the gas crisis, people were lining up for gas. I remember that the artist Ralph Steadman, who did a lot of stuff for Hunter S. Thompson, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, all that he did a Rolling Stone front page, which was Hells Angels on Schwinn bikes. And I just thought that was the funniest thing in the world. I think they take it all in jest. I hope. Yeah.
So, if they're listening to this, I'd be quite surprised.
Me too.
But look, if they, they'll still be one of your sponsors as long as I can, as long, Hells Angels Bar in Goose Creek is as big as your imagination. Let's just keep it that way. How about that?
As long as they continue to pay me in mystery pies, they can continue to be my sponsor.
Mystery pies and buy in a sausage casserole.
Yeah, that's right.
That one, man.
That's right. Oh, boy. All right,
Lou,
Scott.
I hope you have a wonderful week, my friend, and we will talk to you next week.
All right, Scott. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, man. You take care.
Scott Kerr checking in with the fake news. Any TikTok Chess Hall sightings this morning? Maybe. I thought he said he was coming on today. Let me see what he said exactly. Maybe I read it wrong. I texted him yesterday morning to tell him that we couldn't do the morning show because of my internet, and he said, "Okay, gotcha, bud. See you in the morning." So I took that to mean he was coming on this morning, but it could be that's not what he meant. But he'll come on. I mean, if it was a misunderstanding, I can get him on Thursday, I'm sure. I see some people asking about the odds. This isn't a list that I just made. I made a list. Pete made a list. We averaged the list out, and this is where people finished in the list. So this isn't just my list here. Like, I didn't have myself at third, but when we averaged mine and Pete's list together, I came out in third. So that's where the list came from. It's not just my list. We did this last night on the Lunch Money Show. I made a list. Pete made a list. We averaged the two lists together, and this was the final results. So, and this doesn't mean this is how people will finish. I mean, it's like a preseason poll. You don't know how it's going to end. So, I don't think I'm finishing in the top three, but I think Pete had me third. I think I had myself fourth. Somebody said something about my limited physical ability. The only event that my physical ability will hamper me in is the 40-yard dash. That's it. And there's still a lot of people on this list I'll beat in the 40-yard dash. But I definitely won't finish in the top. I might not even finish in the top 10. In fact, I know here's a list of people that'll beat me in the 40-yard dash. D4 will beat me. Pete will beat me. Law Tide will beat me. Slim Shady will beat me. Brett will beat me. Sea-Dog will beat me. Kevin will beat me. Golden Blue Dude will beat me. Jesse J probably will beat me. Carter will beat me. Celine, I don't know. That'll be close. I don't think BVD will beat me. I don't think Mike Vick will beat me. Neo will be close. Chess Hall won't beat me. And him can barely beat his own meat. Which is a shame considering how much time he spends doing that. You'd think he would be really good at it, but he's not. So I won't. I'll probably finish 12th or something in the 40. But there's no other physical competition where my legs will hamper me. I can kick a field goal. I might not make it, but it won't be because of my legs, or if that's what the person meant when they said limited physical ability. It won't be because of whatever problems I have with my legs. If I miss the field goal, it'll be just because I miss it. So that's where the list came from. Shout out to Ben Easterling, too. He was last week's winner of the Put Your Picture Next to the Show Schedule contest thing that we do every Friday. That's Ben Easterling and his significant other. Which he definitely, I'm assuming this is his wife. Might be his girlfriend, whatever. I'm just going to call it. I'm going to call her his wife. You definitely married up, though, sir. Congratulations on that. Congratulations on that. Slim Shady. Good morning, sir. The fifth favorite. The fifth favorite. Yeah. Sea-Dog, Morgan, and Chess Hall are way underrated, in my opinion. I don't know who you think Chess Hall is. I don't know. I think Chess Hall's going to finish in last place. Slob Olympics is March 6th. It's been March 6th for a year. So, yeah, the thing about the field goal kicking contest, it's not like it's not who can kick the furthest. We're doing it inside the College Football Hall of Fame. It's only like a 15 or 20 yard field goal. Everyone kicks from the same spot. It's inside the College Football Hall of Fame. So Lawtie did look like he had a big leg with that field goal thing he did on video the other day. But I think that almost everybody in this contest is capable of making a 15 or 20 yard field goal. The problem is you only get one shot to do it. It's not like you get 10 tries. I mean, you only get one try. So you hit the ball wrong, you shank it off the side of your foot, something like that. That's it. You just get one shot. So anything could happen. And then you have some other, there's some other events that it's just impossible. Like rock, paper, scissors. I mean, anybody can win. That's pure luck. Anybody could win the rock, paper, scissors. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Anybody could win that. I don't have any idea. Trying to handicap the rock, paper, scissors contest is damn near impossible. So, Grayson, are you in here to come on the show today? If you are, it's 8:43. I'll add you in just a few minutes here. I've got your phone number on my email. I think you emailed yesterday to confirm, so I'm sure you're in here. But if you're listening, I'll add you here in just a few minutes. Did y'all hear about Notre Dame pulling out of the EA Sports video game? Did y'all hear about that yesterday? Notre Dame has refused to offer up or give or sell whatever their rights to EA Sports for the new video game. They said in a statement yesterday that until the NCAA or the federal government or whoever passes and implements a name, image, and likeness law for college students, college athletes, that they will not allow their school or any of their players to be featured in any way in the new EA Sports video game, which is still, a ways away, probably not coming out. My guess would be not this summer, but next summer would be my guess on the soonest that game would come out. So maybe something changes between then and now. But they released a big, long statement yesterday that they would not be allowing their school, their images, their stadium, nothing associated with Notre Dame in the new EA Sports college football game until and unless they're able to compensate their players for the game. So we'll see what happens, like I said, between now and when that game actually comes out. So there you go. That's that. That's that. Golden Blue Dude. Where are you at on this list? 10th. Golden Blue Dude, you're a little bit of an unknown, I feel like. It was hard to rank you, in my opinion. He says, are you going to live stream the Slob Olympics, and is each individual allowed to do a small video shoot while out the Slob Olympics? I mean, you're allowed to do whatever you want. I don't think anybody's going to live stream the entire thing. I don't think anybody's got a cell phone battery will last that long. I mean, you're talking about live streaming from 11 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon or so. So I mean, everybody there is a YouTuber. So will there be some live streams going on somewhere during the Slob Olympics? I'm sure there will. I'm sure every single second of it will be recorded to then be uploaded later somewhere at whoever's recording it, a day later, 2 days, whatever. So I'm sure eventually everybody will get to see every event of the Slob Olympics. But as far as a schedule of who's recording what or live streaming when and all that, there's not one. I mean, people can, people are free to do whatever they want as far as that goes. I'm sure I'll do something, but I can't live stream the entire Slob Olympics from start to finish. If I started live streaming at 11 o'clock, my phone would be dead by 12:30. And I think most everybody's phone would too. I don't know if any of you have ever live streamed from a cell phone, but they eat your battery right up. Slim Shady, thank you for the super chat this morning. He says, what are the odds on chess getting a negative score on the IQ test? Golly, that's brutal. That's brutal. I think Chess Hall pretty much said last night he expects to finish last in the IQ test. So Pete said last night he would rather finish 13th or 14th, like next to last, in every single event than to win every single event but come in last in the IQ test. I mean, you got to remember, you're looking at a screen here full of college football video makers and trash talkers. Some do more trash talking than others, but and then everyone's going to know who finishes where in every single event. So whoever finishes last in any event, no one's ever going to forget about it. You know, if I finish last in the 40-yard dash, I'll be hearing about it in the comment section on this channel for the next 20 years. I already know that. And whoever finishes last in the IQ test is going to be the same way. So my goal is to not finish last in any event, though. My goal is to finish 5th or 6th in most events. I think if I finish around 5th or 6th in most events, I'll finish somewhere in the top 4, top 5, something like that. Mountaineer Mike, thank you for the super chat. He says, what's more likely? There's no gap between Clemson and the rest of the ACC, or the Pink Panther is a lion? It's more likely that the Pink Panther is a lion. Yeah. What are the odds that him will no longer troll on this channel after the Slob Olympics? Pretty close to 100%. Pretty close to 100%. He's the modern day Gamecock Steve. He's the modern day Deep Barat. Y'all remember Deep Barat? He's the 2021 version of Deep Barat. Deep Barat was a Texas fan. Never heard of him. No one had ever heard of him until Texas beat Georgia. Then he was everywhere. He was in every comment section. All off season with the Texas is back. Texas is winning the Big 12. Texas is making the playoffs. Sam Ehlinger's winning the Heisman. If you remember, Texas came out and lost to LSU early in the season, and then they lost another game a couple of weeks later, and he disappeared off the face of the earth, never to be seen or heard from again. And people are still looking for him. I don't think anybody would be surprised if him suffers a similar fate. I know I've been posting this a lot lately. In general, I never do this, but I have been doing this a lot lately. Where is this? Here you go. I don't ever pimp these t-shirts off of the store. But you only have a week and a half left if you want to get a shirt memorializing the first Slob Olympics. the shirt's coming down off the store as soon as the Slob Olympics is over. We'll probably take it down that Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to take it down off the store. Now, we'll sell another Slob Olympics shirt starting this summer when we figure out where the 2022 Slob Olympics is going to be. But if you want the inaugural version of the Slob Olympics shirt, you only have a week or a week and a half or so left to order it. So there you go. As long as I'm pimping myself out. Here you go. There's the PayPal link for those of you that don't mind doing it. Call-in show tonight. Now, remember, no NCAA 14 tonight. That's on Thursday. So, but the championship matchup is set. What an ending. What an ending in that Vanderbilt-Arizona game. The best ending we've had in the history of the worst of the worst playoffs. Better even than the Kansas-Rutgers ending from a couple of years ago. It was unbelievable. So the championship game is Vandy versus Syracuse. Those are the two teams that lost in round one. So by losing, they advanced. Vandy versus Syracuse, the loser will be crowned the worst team in the Power Five for the 2020 season. How many of y'all have seen the video of the Oklahoma wide receiver getting the absolute hell molly-whopped out of him? He picked on the wrong guy. Picked on the wrong guy. Is there anybody that hasn't heard this story? Bacon says, I bought a TV repair. The TV repair shirt is my favorite shirt that's ever been on that Teespring store. I love that TV repair shirt. That TV repair shirt is amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna put it up instead. You guys should look. Everyone should at least look at that TV repair shirt. It's unbelievable. Uncle Lou's TV repair service. Have y'all seen that video though? Oklahoma wide receiver. I don't know how tall he is, but he was a big guy, and he's picking on this little guy in the bar, and the little guy just beats the absolute hell out of him. The wide receiver ended up having to have surgery yesterday to save his eye. It turned out the kid he was picking on is a 10-year MMA vet. Not that he's a UFC fighter or anything like that, but he's been training in MMA for 10 years. And there's these two. I don't know who the other guy was that was with the Oklahoma wide. It was the Oklahoma wide receiver, and someone was with him. I don't know if that was another football player or not. And then there was these two little guys. And these two big guys, the Oklahoma wide receiver and the other guy, were picking on these two little guys. I mean, you can see it in the video. And the two little guys just kind of look at each other and jump them. And both the little guys beat the absolute hell out of the two big guys. I played a video. Is this it? Let me see if this is it. All right, here you go. This guy here with the jacket on is the Oklahoma wide receiver. There you go.
Hey, boys, hey, get out of here. What you got? Hey, put the phones on. Get out of here. Oh, buddy. Oh, young blood. Oh, hey, he ain't around, cuz. He got nobody coming back, bro. Hey, that's funny, bro. Hey, guillotine. Hey, rear naked choke. Tap out, motherfucker. Wrestling match. 3, 2, 1. Oh,
God.
Bro, y'all motherfuckers ain't playing around, bro.
Yeah. And you can find that video anywhere if you want to look at it again. It's all over Twitter. It's all over YouTube, Instagram, whatever. You can find it. But just go anywhere and type in OU wide receiver bar fight or something. You'll find it. But, yeah, pick with the wrong little guy that time. Messed with the wrong little guy there. And then did you see the other guy at the end of the video got thrown headfirst into the wall? That reminded me of George Pickens when he beat the hell out of that Georgia Tech player and bulldogged him into the wall in the end zone. If the wide receiver had any wrestling experience, he would have whooped the little dude. I guess he should have thought about that before he started picking on him. I don't know. Parker, thank you for the super chat. He says, Kentucky football fan. We beat Tennessee by more than UGA did. But you lost to UGA, though, again. For the 14th time in 15 years? So. Yeah. Congrats, though, I guess. Lots of spring practices starting up. If they hadn't already started, they're starting soon. As of now, Georgia's going to have a spring game. Limited attendance, no tailgating, $10 to get in. Florida not having a spring game. They are having spring practice, but no spring game. So I guess you'll see some of both of that across the country for spring football. I would assume everyone is going to hold spring practice. All 5 major conferences played. I know some played less games and all that, but the point is they all made the decision to play. There was no major problems as a result in terms of a lot of players got coronavirus, but I never heard of any of them getting really sick or hospitalized. So I would assume that every Power 5 conference and every Power 5 team in every Power 5 conference is going to hold spring practice. I guess if you look at the decision Florida has made, I can't imagine they'll be the only ones that don't have a spring game. I love the spring game, but I'm not going to go this year. There's no tailgating, limited attendance. You don't really go to the spring game to see the game. At least I don't. Not that watching the spring game is not fun or entertaining or whatever. You get to see some of the freshmen that early enroll. You'd get to see Brock Vandergriff if you go, see what he looks like. I'll definitely watch it on TV. But the tailgating and the socializing and the hanging out before the game and all that, to me, is just as fun, if not more fun, at a spring game than the actual spring game itself. Plus, it's usually 100 degrees at the Georgia spring game in the middle of April. I usually leave in the third quarter anyway of those spring games. It's just so hot there, so I'm just going to skip it. I'm just going to skip it this year and just watch it on TV. But it'll be interesting to see how many teams follow Florida's lead and have no spring game at all. And who knows with Georgia? I mean, that could change too. Right now, the plan is for Georgia to have the game. We'll see. Maybe that changes. I'm not trash talking Florida for canceling their game. I don't think they'll be the only one at all. Lou, do you gamble in the football off season? Very rarely. I mean, I don't bet on regular season baseball games or regular season NBA games. Sometimes I'll do something for March Madness or conference tournaments in college basketball or even the Kentucky Derby in May. But that's about it. Not like I do in football, where I'll bet a little bit every week in football. During football season, what I usually do is I put a couple $100 in an online gambling account somewhere. I don't bet big money on football games. Every once in a while I do, but generally speaking, I put a couple $100 in an online account at the beginning of football season, and I'll bet 5 or 6 games a day, $25-$50 a game. I win some, lose some. Maybe at the end of So if I start out with $200, maybe at the end of the first weekend I have $250, maybe I have $150, whatever, and I do the same thing the following week. I did get really lucky the first 3 or 4 weeks of this season, and I won some big bets. This past season was probably the most money I've ever won in a single season, gambling on college football, and that's not that I won a ton of money, but like I don't gamble a ton of money. I don't have a ton of money to gamble, but I turned $100 into $1,900 by like halfway through the season. I cashed out and left my original $100 in there, and then I think I didn't do that well the second half of the season. I think I had maybe $200 in there or something heading into the national championship game. And I lost that, didn't I? Didn't I lose my bet on that game? I think I don't remember. Did I take Ohio State in the points? I don't remember. But I had, and I had some left for the NFL playoffs, and I took the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and lost. So, I mean, but I still won big for the year. I won about $1,700 for the year. To me, that's big. When it comes to gambling, that's big because I don't gamble that much money. So that's that. Slim Shady says, insider tip. Drop the odds on D4. Rumor is he might have a Nancy Kerrigan type accident. Uh-oh. Now, Slim, some people probably don't know what that is. That was a crazy story, though. What was that, the 92 Olympics? 94 Winter Olympics? 92 or the Atlanta... The Atlanta Summer Olympics were in 96, and the Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding thing happened in a Winter Olympics before that, didn't it? It must have been 92 or 94 or whatever. Yeah, that was crazy. Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan were two big-time female ice skaters. And Tanya Harding's husband hired a hitman to break Nancy Kerrigan's legs so she wouldn't be able to compete in the Olympics. Slim Shady is suggesting here that the same fate might befall D4. Jeff Webster says 92 Lillehammer games. Okay. Are you sure a lot of UGA fans are competing? Let's see. Me, Brett, Kevin, that's 3. Jesse, that's 4. Vic, so I guess 6 Georgia fans. Then we got a Texas fan, a Clemson fan, a Bama fan, a Miami fan, a Georgia Tech fan, a West Virginia fan, a Tennessee fan, a Florida fan, another Tennessee fan, another Alabama fan. And then you got him. He's just an Uncle Lou fan. Tanya Harding went on to do porn. I never knew that. Yeah, Chess is a Georgia fan. Oh, I got to add this guy to the show. I forgot. What time is it? 9:08. Okay, we got somebody we're going to add to the show. I don't know a whole lot about this guy, which doesn't matter. He can tell us all about him when here if he answers the phone. No. Is that right? Oh, also, it dawned on me this morning when I was thinking about show ideas that I really dropped the ball around Valentine's Day here on the morning show by not doing any of the prank calls like we did for Christmas and New Year's Eve. Really dropped the ball there.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou, though.
Hey, Lou. This is Grayson.
Hey, Grayson. What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming on this morning.
Out here in Rockdale County, taking a little break from work.
Rockdale County?
Uh-huh.
Where's that at?
You're going to pass right through it, I believe, on the way to the Slav Olympics.
Oh, is that Conyers?
That's Conyers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Conyers is the first, last city you go through, really coming from this way before you get to Atlanta. Okay. Yeah. I know where that's at. So are you from there?
I'm from Social Circle originally, just a little bit east of here, down in Walton County.
Having a hard time hearing you. You're breaking up real bad.
All right.
That's
is any better?
Yeah, that sounds good. What'd you say now?
Yeah, I'm originally from Social Circle, which is about, I guess, 20 minutes east of Conyers. You'll be right through there, too, or right by on I-20. Watch your speed on I-20 when you're coming through there.
Yeah, that's right after Madison, isn't it?
Yeah, right after Madison, right after Lake Oconee. Yeah. As soon as you hit Lake Oconee, I would start watching that speedometer.
Yeah.
Coming to the Slav Olympics.
Right. Okay. So now, do you have a name in the comments section that people would know?
Just Grayson, and I don't get to comment much. I'm usually working right now.
I got you.
I'm taking a little break from work right now. So I usually don't get to comment very often, but I do watch. I do listen to the live shows, and I comment some of the night calling shows. I comment on those some, but
I've been trying to make a conscious effort lately. I always think at the end of the show, I always thank everybody in the comment section and blah blah blah. And I've been trying to make more of a conscious effort to thank the people like you who. There's a lot of people like you on every show that are listening but unable to comment for whatever reason. Maybe they're listening on their headphones in their living room in the evening with their wife sitting next to them, or maybe they're at work in the mornings like you are. So I appreciate you listening in when you can, even though you're unable to comment most times. So, but all right, well, since this is your first time on the show, though, take a minute or as long as you want, really, and tell people a little bit about yourself, at least who your team is, and I can tell them as much as you want, but so people know who we're talking to this morning.
All right. Well, I'm a Bulldogs fan. Bulldogs fan all my life, and a Georgia sports fan in general. Big Braves fan, Falcons fan as well. As hard as that is to say right now, but went to UGA, graduated from there before Mark Richt got the axe. So saw some interesting times over there. Started there in 2008 when we were preseason number 1 that year. I'm sure you never remember that season. Just been a big fan, UGA fan, been a Uncle Lou fan ever since I ran across some of your stuff and mainly started watching you with the whole Justin Fields thing. Yeah. But
did you get to go to a lot of games when you were a student there?
Yeah, I tell you, when I first started, my first year was the last year that the students got all the home games in their ticket package.
Yeah.
So that first year we got student tickets for every home game, and I get pretty good seats. It's not I guess to back up for another thing too. I'm in a wheelchair, so I'm disabled, and was disabled while I was going in a wheelchair while I was going to UGA, which I say that about the tickets because, everybody talks about the student section and all. Well, the handicap section is down in front of the student section. So we got some pretty good seats and got to go to, some pretty good games. And yeah,
that's good. Yeah. That, the first game of the year, that 2008 year, of course, was the Monday night game against Alabama, where the game was over in the first quarter.
I don't think that wasn't the first game of the year, was it?
I
think it was a couple
not.
in.
Maybe
it was a couple in. It was a couple in. I think
you're right. That wasn't a Monday game. I think you're right. I think that might have been the third game or something like that. Yeah, I think you might.
Yeah, it was a night. It was a Saturday night game. Because game day was there.
That's right.
And we had started out the season number 1, and somehow, even though we didn't lose any games, we had dropped down to number 2 or 3. I think when we played Alabama. Alabama was ranked number 1, and we were ranked 2, I think. And yeah, it was that was a terrible. It's a terrible memory, very vivid memory. But I guess being a Georgia sports fan, a lot of the memories I have aren't necessarily the best.
Yeah. So if you started in 08, you were there approximately 8 to 12 or so.
Transferred in. I was there till 2011.
Oh, okay. So you left really right before. Because that 2012 season would have been better than any season when you were there. Then
right. Yeah, that last year I was there, I think was that losing season. It was terrible.
Yeah, I think we lost we lost to Central Florida in a bowl game that year, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and was that the year we lost to Boise State in week 1 too?
I can't remember.
Were you there then, or did that come after that?
I think that was after that.
Okay.
I can't be 100% sure.
That was one of those opening weekend games that was played in Atlanta. We wore those hideous Power Ranger looking uniforms. Thank God we never wore those things again.
Yeah.
Boise State. Now, if I'd have had a YouTube channel then, that would have been a viral video. For sure.
Yeah. You always got to watch those. That was when Boise State was actually pretty decent. Opening games, those games opening week. I'm always, I don't know. It's mixed feelings about scheduling those big opponents.
Yeah, it was just a few years before that where they had beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl in one of the greatest. That's one of the greatest college football games I've ever seen. that Oklahoma-Boise State game. It was unbelievable because now we look at teams now like Boise State and Central Florida or even Cincinnati this year when they get into one of these big bowl games. I feel like they have a certain level of respect. I mean, people still kind of dog them a little, but they have a certain level of respect. When Boise State was first, they were really the first one to do that, and no one really took them seriously. And they showed up and beat Oklahoma in that Fiesta Bowl. They were running hook and laterals, Statue of Liberty plays. It was just an amazing game. I don't know how many people watch and remember that game. I think that was the 2008 season. I can't remember, but that was just, when you're a college football fan, you watch those big games. That's what you want. Just a game that comes down to the end. That one had the whole underdog story built in with Boise State because, like I said, back then we didn't know really. Okay, Boise State was 10-0 or 12-0, whatever they were, but look who they played, that kind of thing. We didn't really know. Now we kind of, okay, Boise State's been good for 15 years now. Central Florida, we know they can we know they can be good. Cincinnati, we kind of get it now. But back then, you really didn't know what to think of a team like that. Somebody said it was 2006. Might have been 2006, a long time ago. But, man, what a great game. They got down to the end zone there at the end and ran that Statue of Liberty. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I think they ran a hook and lateral earlier in that drive. It wasn't like the last play of the game where you'll see some teams do that. This was just – it was unbelievable. I'd like to go back and rewatch the fourth – I wonder if I can find the fourth quarter of that game on YouTube. I bet I can. If you're watching, and maybe you're a little younger or whatever the case – if you can find Boise State versus Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, watch the whole game if you have time, but watch the fourth quarter of that game. It was unbelievable. What a great game. Born in Social Circle, it's a small town. Now in Conyers. Conyers is a pretty big town, and it's probably gotten a lot bigger as Atlanta has grown over the years, right?
Yeah, definitely growing, and I guess it is fairly big, but it's growing as everything is around the metro area, at least on this side of town, anyway.
Yeah. Do you work in the Atlanta area? Like, do you have to drive into Atlanta every day or anything like that?
I was before this whole pandemic thing.
Okay.
I was working in Atlanta, up off Northside Drive, kind of close to where everything's going to be going on for the Slob Olympics. But since the pandemic, we've been working at home. I'm fortunate, very fortunate in that aspect to have a job that I could do that mainly on a computer.
Me too.
Yeah.
When you were driving in from Conyers to basically downtown Atlanta, how long would it take you on a typical work day to get to work?
Oh, well, it depends. I was, like I said, fortunate enough to have a flexible schedule, and I'd get up and leave the house about 5 or 5:30 in the morning. If I did that, I could get to work in about 30 or 40 minutes. If I waited till after 6 o'clock, it was usually an hour or better.
Yeah.
And on the way home, it didn't really matter. On the way home, it was going to be about an hour, and on a bad day, it was going to be about an hour and a half. There really wasn't a whole lot of ways to get around it either. It didn't seem like.
There's not to that scale, but there's a similar thing here with people that work. There's a big military base here in town, and a lot of civilians work out there on the military base. Mm-hmm. And there's limited ways in and out of that obviously. So it's the same kind of thing here. Leaving 5 minutes later in the morning to go to that military base makes the trip 45 minutes longer. There's like a key time frame where you have to get to a certain point before a certain time. If not, the traffic just comes out of nowhere at a certain time. So same kind of thing like you were saying. You get up and leave a little early, you beat the traffic.
Yep. Pretty similar here. If you leave after 6:30, you're going to be stuck up there at the perimeter.
Right. So Social Circle and then on to UGA. Now, did you grew up a Georgia fan, you said, I think?
Yeah, I did. I grew up a Georgia fan, just watching. Didn't follow it, I guess, really seriously. When I was young, I was playing sports and all that, but definitely been a Georgia fan. since I can remember, and wanted to go there. I guess you know, to the school and play when I was younger. Just always enjoyed watching them. Never got to go to many games and stuff when I was a kid, but got, you know, I guess the first games I ever went to was when I was in college. So, but
yeah, I didn't go to that many games as a kid either. I've told the story a bunch of times, but I wasn't that big of a college football fan as a young kid. My dad was more of an NFL fan, and so I wasn't like raised in a college football household. I mean, I loved the game of football, and I played football as a kid and all that. So I would watch some college football on TV. But in 5th grade, one of my friends, his parents had season tickets to Georgia games, and they took me to a game one Saturday. We played Baylor. It was 1988, 1989, somewhere around there. We played Baylor, and he took me, and I was hooked. From that point on, and pretty much since that point, I was a much bigger college football fan than I was an NFL fan. And my dad will watch college football, but he's still to this day, given a choice, he would watch the Falcons on a Sunday as opposed to Georgia on a Saturday. He considers himself a Georgia fan. He's kind of the opposite of me. I'll watch the Falcons if there's nothing else going on. He'll watch Georgia if there's nothing else going on. But I wasn't really raised in a college football household. Now, you said you grew up wanting to play for Georgia. So do you want to say how or why you ended up in a wheelchair?
Yeah, I don't mind. Broke my neck. Excuse me. Broke my neck in a diving accident out in Lake St. Clair. This was after high school. Anyway, I'd already started screwing up and got off the right path.
Yeah.
By then, but yeah, it was. I guess it was 2006. I broke my neck. I'd been graduated for a year or two and was going to community college.
Yeah.
And broke my C7 and C6 vertebrae. And then after, so I was going to college when I did that, and then I had to go through rehabilitation and all that after that, and finished up with my junior college, and then I went to UGA, transferred there after that. And I just want to shout out to the people. If you know somebody with disability. I know, Lou, you had a accident. You were kind of on crutches. I don't know if you were in a wheelchair or anything for a certain amount of time, but I know you went through some stuff where you were dealing with that a while back, right?
Yeah, I broke both my legs at the same time, so I was in a wheelchair for I was in a bed for 6 months. But nothing. I mean, all my injuries. So I don't want to compare it to what you went through at all, but my leg injuries weren't all that bad, but because there were injuries to both legs at the same time, if you break one leg, you can hobble around on crutches,
Yeah.
But if you got issues with both legs at the same time, and they didn't want to do surgery on both my legs at the same time, so I ended up having to have like 2 surgeries on one leg and 2 or 3 on the other, and so it extended out over like a 5 or 6 month period where basically both my legs were in casts or braces or so I was in a bed actually for 4 or 5 months, and then a wheelchair for a couple of months, and then eventually crutches for another few months. And I actually broke my neck too, but very minor breaks to 2 of the, I don't even remember what they were. 2, but I just had to wear a neck brace for like 3 months.
Well, that's no fun either. But
yeah, no, it's not.
Well, were you when you were? You say you were in a bed for a while. When you got up and were in a wheelchair, were you trying to go out, or were you mostly just hanging out around the house and going to doctor's appointments and stuff like that?
Well, in the beginning, when I first was, I couldn't go anywhere but doctor's appointments when I was bedridden, because I literally had to have people like carry me in and out of the car, because we didn't have wheelchair ramps or. Yeah. We didn't have any of that infrastructure built around what you need to navigate with a wheelchair. So it was, it was a big deal to get me anywhere. So for the first few months, I didn't leave except for doctor's appointments. And once I got in the wheelchair, it was kind of the same way in the beginning, but for a different reason. It was just, I was embarrassed.
Yeah. Well,
that went away after a while because there's nothing to be embarrassed about. But when it's new to you, you know, I would go somewhere and I just, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. And then, you know, if it was ever raining or a chance of rain, I'm like, I don't want, you know, I am be wheeling myself through a parking lot or something. And it became embarrassing and I didn't, you know, but I got over that. I got over that fairly quickly because you just get tired of being in the house.
Yeah. And I say that's something I don't think I necessarily struggled with, but definitely had to kind of overcome some of that, especially, like I said, being newly in a wheelchair and then trying to go back to college and being integrated back into, you know, trying to get back to normal as good as possible being in a wheelchair. So it's got its own set of challenges, you know, and definitely had to deal with some of that, trying to go back, get in the flow of college. And as far as the whole getting in and out, and, you know, that's why I was asking you if you tried to go out and about a lot while you're in a wheelchair, because there's a lot of things that I guess, and I never thought about it before I was in a wheelchair, but just a lot of challenges that never even cross your mind, just getting in and out of buildings, getting around the campus. I mean, you've been up to the University of Georgia campus.
Yeah.
It is hills. It's not just easy rolling, you know.
Right.
And
did you have because your situation is way more permanent? When I just had an old fashioned sit down and, you know, push your own wheelchair.
Yeah. Because
your situation was a lot more serious and permanent. Did you have a motorized thing?
No, I'm not in a power chair. I was kind of on the borderline, but I'm in a manual chair now, so I push myself.
Okay.
You know, everywhere. But I've still got pretty good, you know, arm function and all that stuff, so I was able to do it. So I did it.
Yeah.
And as far as getting around and stuff like that, I mean, on the campus, UGA does a really good job assisting people getting around. They've got these vans, these handicap vans are equipped with ramps and this, that, and the other, and they'll get you to and from class. You know, you have your scheduled with them if you've got, you know, class on one side of campus and then another class is 15 minutes. You know, you got class 15 minutes from now on the other side of campus. There's no way you're going to get there.
Right.
And they definitely help shuttle you around. So shout out to them. They do a really good job with that. And yeah, very, very accommodating. It's the students and the bus driver. So I guess it's the transit people over there. They do a good job of that.
I'll tell you one positive thing I picked up when I was in a wheelchair, other than maybe in high school when I played football and you had to do weight training and all that. That's the strongest I've ever been from the waist up is when I was in that wheelchair. Because when you have to pick yourself up in and out of the bed and in and out of the shower or the tub or, I mean, imagine everywhere you go today. If you've never been in a wheelchair, just imagine everything you do today, every move you make has to be made using only your arms. Whether you're talking about pushing yourself down the hallway in a chair or lifting yourself out of a wheelchair to get in and out of the bed. And then, you know, hundreds of times a day, sometimes you're doing this, depending on how busy your day is and what you have going on. You develop some serious arm strength relative to whatever you had before.
Definitely. I'm telling you, my triceps, by the time I got through up there at UGA, were pretty impressive.
Yeah.
They went down a little bit, but
let me ask you something else about your accident, since you don't seem to mind talking about it. When it happened, did you know right away? Were you paralyzed right away? Like did you have to? Did someone have to come dive down and get you out of the? You said this happened in a lake.
Yeah. So
did it knock you out? I mean, what happened?
I don't really know if it knocked me out. So it was a 4th of July, like kind of get together thing, and we were out, just been out on the water and stuff all day. We were had just got back in, and we were I was about to go hop on a jet ski and just mess around, because we had a few minutes before the food was getting ready. But anyway, ran off the dock and to go get on the jet ski, and stupidly dove in, and really it happened so fast. I don't think I was knocked out. It was just like a flash, and I knew something was obviously severely wrong immediately. I had a life jacket on because I was going to get on the jet ski, so I was paralyzed, couldn't move, and just like floating there. And so, like I said, I had a couple of buddies around, and one of my friends jumped in and like rolled me over because I was like facing down, and they just flipped me over right there. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you pretty much know. It's like, yeah, it's something. Either I broke my neck or so I can't move, And
damn.
Yep. And so, and that's that. You just feel like it was really, as far as when it happened, it feels like you're on fire. Like your whole body is just, at least that was my experience anyway, just extremely hot and can't move. And yeah.
Now, this was, 2006, you said?
Yeah, 2006.
So it's not a given that somebody had a cell phone, but did someone have a cell phone?
I can't really remember. Like I said, I know I stayed in the water. They went and called somebody because I got a life flight out of there. So the helicopter came and all that stuff. It took me out of there. But so I don't really know. I was obviously kind of I don't know what I was thinking, to be quite honest, through the whole thing. But it was pretty quick. I remember, the EMTs got me out of the water and everything and strapped to the backboard. Then it was to the helicopter and on to Atlanta.
How long were you in the hospital initially? I'm sure you probably had to go back for later surgeries or something, but initially, how long were you there?
Well, so initially went to Grady, and I was there.
Is that where they flew you to right away? It was to Grady?
Yeah, okay. Right away, straight to Grady. And I was there. They got me stabilized, neck, just in a brace and everything. And they had to get the surgeons and everything lined up. And I guess it took about a week for them to do the surgery to stabilize my neck. They had to go in and remove the crushed up bone and put like some metal, some plates in there and stuff like that. Screw everything back together and get it back set. But that took a week. There were some complications as far as some other patients, some other accidents that happened in the area that bumped my surgery back a few days. But so it was 7 days until I got my neck stabilized, and then it was probably 6 weeks before I could even get out of the bed and start to go through rehab and stuff.
Yeah, man.
And then it's pretty slow after that. I mean, you've been in the bed for that long. You just kind of, it takes a while just so you can sit up, and start getting back. And you've lost a lot of strength by then too. So it's a long road, but we're doing good.
Yeah, you have a positive attitude. I mean, that's from a minor issue to a major issue, positive attitudes in these kinds of situations are important. They can make or break you, really. And I mean,
definitely.
Some people would look at something like that as an excuse to kind of give up on life, and some people, get to the point. Some soon. Some it takes a while to just say, you know what, this is what it is. Now, what do I need to do to, go on with my life the best way I can? And that's how you have to look at it. It sounds like you have a good attitude about it.
Well, saw a lot of both sides of that while I was going through rehab. I went to the Shepherd Center after Grady. So if anybody knows anybody that's been up there, it's a great place. I have nothing but good stuff to say about all the staff and people up there. The Shepherd Spinal Center up there in Atlanta. But they do a good job at all aspects of helping you, just do like what you said. You got to have a positive attitude. If you start getting down about stuff, and that goes for almost anything in life, you're not going to get a positive outcome. So, but
now you said when it happened, you knew right away, and it kind of feels like you're on fire or something. Now, how long does that last, and what do you have any feeling at all now, like in your toes, or can you wiggle your toes? Like how permanent is it? Will it ever get any better? And does it hurt at all now? Well,
as far as the prognosis goes, not likely to get anything back at this point. As far as stuff like right after it happened, stuff especially like in my hands and things like that, it just took some time to, I guess, maybe train some muscles and develop some of those muscles that I was going to have to rely on more. But I never really got a lot back as far as what happened at the point of accident and then moving forward. And I don't really remember a whole lot after there for a couple of weeks. It was pretty fuzzy because after getting in the helicopter ride, I was pretty sedated for a while, so I don't really, some of the details in there are pretty fuzzy, but as far as getting any other kind of range of motion or feeling back, not likely at this point, I would say. Not that there was plenty of trying and doing stuff like that during rehab, but there's only so much you can do, so much you can try to work on. And then at some point, you just got to figure this is what it is, and I'm going to use everything I have and get it as strong as possible. And so
no feeling at all in your legs now. No pain. No, it's just nothing.
Well, I'm not saying it's not anything. It's really hard to explain. So I still have muscle spasms and stuff like that. Not anything that's uncontrollable that really gets in the way of doing everyday activities. But so like if I'm sitting for a long time, my leg muscles might just start spasming or something like that. I can feel some. Just like light touch or something like that on your skin that you'd be sensitive to, I can't feel that.
Yeah.
But let's say if I've done this a few times, like burned my feet or have something too close to a heater or something like that, and you don't realize that you're doing it, your body will start reacting to it, but you won't necessarily feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those. It's all a learning experience.
Yeah. Well, man, that's a terrible story, but I mean, you couldn't have I mean, I hardly know you. I don't want to pretend like I do, but it sounds like you couldn't have a better attitude about the whole thing. And, nobody ever wants anything like that to happen to anybody, but.
And you never think it will. You never think it will.
No,
happened to me, Alex, and I just had turned 21, and it was one of those things where I'm up, doing anything I wanted to, and then you never, it's one of those things, you never think something like that will happen to you, and you never think that you'll be able to do as much. You don't think you would be able to overcome it if it would have happened to you, but you never know what's inside of you till you really are tried, I guess.
Yeah, and I've never known anybody that this has happened to, but everybody watching and listening right now has read a story or seen on the news. It happens every, we have a lake here. It happens every year. It happens in someone's pool every year. I mean, this kind of thing, it's one of those things that, like you said, a split second decision for what, and that's it. I mean, it just, these things just happen.
Well, in the summertime, like you said, it's a lot of pool accidents and diving accidents, and any other time it's car wrecks or something like that. I remember when I was at school. Do you remember Chance Veazey?
I don't.
That name sound familiar? Chance Veazey. He was a baseball player at UGA, and he was a second baseman, I believe. And he was riding a scooter around up there, and he had an accident up there, and he was in a wheelchair for a while. I don't know if y'all remember that, but yeah, it's one of those things. I'm sure he's, on the baseball team 1 minute, and then he's, riding in the handy van with me the next week or so, the next semester.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, you never know. And don't take stuff for granted either,
Yeah.
That's another thing I'd have to say.
When you were at UGA, let's see, about 8 to 11, you said you were there. So that would have been
That's Matt
Stafford, AJ Green, O'Shawn Moreno,
Rennie Curran.
Yeah.
Yeah. All through there.
You ever run into any of those guys when you were there?
Not really, especially not any of the older guys like Stafford and O'Shawn. AJ Green, I saw him. You'd see him around campus every now and then, but as far as just seeing him out hanging out, I'd see some of the athletes in the dining hall, and most of the time they kind of stay to themselves.
Yeah.
From what I saw, they have their whole little wing of the dining hall. So if somebody like AJ Green walked in, you would know he was in there because there'd be like a little buzz around. Oh, AJ Green's over there. AJ Green's over there. But as far as going out and hanging out with him and that type of thing, not really. That's about the most I saw. Most of them around campus.
Never had any classes with anybody like that?
I had a class with some. I don't know if you remember him or not. Ty Fricks was a long snapper back then, and I had several classes with him. He was an engineering student. That's why I studied engineering there. He was had classes with him, but that's the only football player I really had many classes with.
Yeah.
Or any class with that I know. Some of the classes there, like I said, there's 200, 250 people in them. I don't know. It could have been, who knows who in those classes, but nobody that I saw or can remember.
So that's what you, I guess that's what you do for a living now, some type of engineering?
Not exactly. Like I said, I do work on medical software.
Okay.
Engineering. When I did graduate, the job market really wasn't that great at the time. So I had nothing against the current job I have. I'm, like I said, fortunate and work with a good company. But I didn't get to go into the field that I thought I was going to go into. Because I went into study biomedical engineering, and I don't know, maybe I would have had to go back for a graduate degree to do some of the more researchy type things I thought I was going to be doing, but just didn't, I don't know. Wasn't feeling graduate school, I guess.
You were in community college when the accident happened, right? You said? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
And then you later transferred to UJ. So how much time did you have to take off from college altogether? And did this happen? Well, I guess this happened over the summer, so it wouldn't have been in the middle of a semester. But did you have to take a year off?
It actually was. I was taking a summer class to try to get everything done. I lost the semester that I got injured. Lost that one, so that one was toast. Then that took me, I guess, I got back into school as soon as I could, which was still, it probably took me a year to get everything back going. Yeah. And then I think I had one semester. I think that was my last semester that I was trying to finish up. So I had one semester at the community college before I transferred to UGA.
Okay. So you at least got to get, familiar with getting yourself around some kind of campus before they just dropped you off in the middle of UGA.
I guess it was such a totally different world. The community college I was going to was one of these just in like a strip mall parking lot type of thing, So it's like it was at the time anyway. That's where the campus was. They've gotten a lot bigger now, but it was a really totally different world. It was. Not that I wasn't prepared for it, but I hadn't experienced anything like UGA before I went up there.
Yeah. Now, I know at almost every college there's a club for everything. How were there a lot of students at UGA who were in similar circumstances to you, and was there a way for y'all to get together or or anything like that, or?
Yeah, there was a fair number of kids there, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's hard to kind of put relatively. I'd say a handful. I know there's still a handful of people I see going to games, but there wasn't really any clubs. Like the most, I guess, interactions that we would have would be in the transport van or waiting outside, because a lot of times they would double them up. You'd ride tandem with somebody or something like that. So you kind of, over a semester, you'd have some people you were used to seeing. And, you see them at the football games because they sit, the handicap section is not that big. So you'd see them around campus and stuff like that. But that's about the extent of any groups or anything goes. And I definitely didn't have anybody like that in class in my other classes. Now,
I made some pretty dumb decisions in a previous life, and fortunately, it didn't end up paralyzed. But on a couple of different occasions, I did wind up in jail. And in the holding area, when you're in there, you don't know anybody in there really, but you're all in the same circumstance in there. So it's a whole bunch of, so what'd you do? What gets you in here? So when you're on the van, or you're at the game or whatever, do you get to know the people that kind of way? Like do people, hey, what happened? That kind of thing. I'm sure everybody, even, you've probably been asked all these questions I've asked you today. You've probably been asked 1,000,000 times by everybody that's ever met you. But when you're on a van like that, and everyone in there is, it's like when I was in the holding cell. Everyone in the holding cell is in jail. Everyone on that van is experiencing what you're experiencing. So is there a lot of what they get you for, like that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'd say there is. You kind of got to read the person, I guess. I'd say a lot of times, sometimes you get the vibe that they don't want to be asked that, I guess, and you just maybe don't. But a lot, if you're spending any time, any kind of conversation with somebody like that, it's natural that's going to come up.
Right.
It's just natural curiosity. And after you've been asked a lot, from my experience, most people aren't very, they're not put off by somebody asking them, because it's just natural to want to know. And yeah, you would, especially at UGA and in any of the other, like at Shepherd, when I was going through any of that stuff, that was a very similar thing. Like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
How'd you end up? How's it going? Where are you from? All that type of stuff. And yeah.
So, have you ever heard like just the craziest story of what was that?
A couple of crazy ones that it just doesn't even make. It's still hard for me to even understand how it happened. Well, one of the craziest I've heard was there's a young man, and he was about, he was probably 13 or so, 14 or so, something like that. And him and his dad were doing something. His dad had picked him up and was almost like in a torture rack or something, but there were some kind of, from what I remember, there were some kind of gathering or something, and they were just kind of horsing around. And when his dad picked him up, his dad slipped and dropped him and broke his neck. And that was pretty, and he was paralyzed in a way to where he could walk but couldn't move his arm. So his arms, he didn't have any mobility in his arms at all, but he could stand up and walk around. Which was, it's crazy. You hear all kind of stuff. I know I was one guy, he was playing softball at a church league softball and dove into third base into somebody's knee and broke his neck. And he was unfortunately higher injured than me. You hear all kind of stuff. One buddy of mine at UGA, he was standing there to take a picture in the ocean, and a wave came and knocked him down and planted him and broke his neck. So it's just, it's like I said, that's when you hear stuff like that, it's really one of those things where you never know. You never know what's going to happen next.
Now, given all the stories you've heard, and you've been around a lot of people that are in similar situations to you, whether it be through rehab or whatever else, is it surprising to you that this sort of thing doesn't happen more in football? Now, we have the famous case from not that long ago, 4 or 5 years ago at Georgia on the kickoff, where the opposing player unfortunately did get paralyzed. But I'm going to be honest, and I'm sure it's happened and I just don't know about it, but off the top of my head, I can't think of another major incident like that happening in college football in a long, long time. Does it, given how it literally can happen to anybody at any time, and you dove in a lake, a guy dives into third base playing softball, a guy gets hit by a wave. These are all things that people do every day, and you don't think that much about it. Football, we know, is dangerous. Does it surprise you we don't see more of this in football?
I guess so. When I really stop and think about it, I guess it kind of does, because just some of the force that these guys are exhibiting on each other, just the speed, the way people play, how hard everybody plays, and just it is surprising to me that there isn't more serious injuries. Thank God there's not. Right. Obviously, I don't know if it's and I don't know what that's from. If it may be from the equipment, maybe from the training these guys have. That they're a lot of these guys are conditioned athletes, so that might have something to do with them being able to sustain some of these things a little more than the average Joe. But I guess it is. When I stop and think about it, it does surprise me that we don't have more serious injuries like that, I guess. And
then more kind of just proof of the randomness of this is, even if you look at Devin Gales, the football player for who was he for? Wasn't it? It was a team from Louisiana, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, I can't recall. I know it was a small school.
If you look at the play where that happened, you can watch almost any college football game and see much more violent head collision. Like, it didn't appear to be. Sometimes I've watched a ton of football, and still sometimes when I'm watching it in real time, I'll catch myself going, oh, like that guy's not getting up, and they jump right up. The thing with Devin Gales, you see that 100 times in any game, and nothing ever happens, but you get hit just the right way at just the right angle, and and that just. We watch football a certain way, and we try not to think about those things. But you watch that Devin Gales play, and it can happen. Any one of us can go to the lake today and have an accident, and any one of these football players, it could happen tomorrow. It is amazing to me that it doesn't happen more in the sport of football, and especially when you look at that Devin Gales thing, you just go, God, it didn't even look. You just see way more violent, brutal collisions all the time than the Devin Gales thing, but you just get hit the right way, and that's it. Yeah, and that's it. It just takes, I guess, the right way. Thinking of like car crashes, I think of them the same way. You'll see sometimes after a car crash, you'll see the car, and anybody survived, or anybody made it out of that, and the person will be standing there, and then you'll see another one that was a fender bender that they have an injury that plagues them the rest of their life. Yeah. Or I don't know what angle you went into the water at, but if you'd have went in at 2 or 3 different degrees off from that angle, maybe you break your nose. Yeah, and that's something. What I did, it was something I've been doing. I've stupidly done it 1,000 times. I've been swimming and diving in lakes and pools and everything like that since I was 4 years old. It just which maybe that has something to do with it. Catch up with you eventually, but I don't know. Yeah, and it's just I can't imagine. And then I've got teenage kids now, and I just the things you worry about with them, and now I'm like, oh God, and they've been swimming since they were 2 years old. Both their grandparents have swimming pools, and it's just what a nightmare. I bet your parents. That the phone call that they must have got. I as a parent myself, I can't even imagine
Yeah, I did not want to, and I didn't have to, but I did not want anybody to call my mom. That was even when all that was going on, I just knew that was not going to be good news. Obviously, to say the least, just, have to be a hard one to get. And I've got a daughter myself, and just, it's hard to think about. She's
so you can look at it from the other side now as a parent too. I mean, can you?
Yeah.
And as a parent, you'd much rather spend the rest of your life in that wheelchair than to see your daughter in one for one day. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just the things you have to think and worry about nonstop as a parent is just, I mean, it'll push you over the edge.
Oh, it'll drive you crazy. Especially, she's got a birthday this week. Actually, it's turning 13, so it's just
ours are the same age then. Really a
fun time.
Mine'll be 14 in June, so she's 13 and a half, so she's grown. You can't tell your daughter anything, can you?
Oh Lord,
she knows
13,
it all.
Yeah. She's way smarter than I am.
Believe me, I know. My daughter thinks we have the worst house, meanest house. She can't stand to be here anymore already. 13 years old. She spends every day planning where she's going the next day so she doesn't have to be here.
Oh, man. And I know you've been talking about the whole Jeep Wrangler, and we're start talking about the cars thing. That's a whole nother ball game. It just scares me to death.
Yeah.
Not ready for that.
I think about just standing in the driveway and watching her drive off by herself for the first time. And I don't know how any parent functions for the first 6 months or year or something after their kid starts driving. And there's a whole other host of issues to worry about now that people like me and you didn't have to worry about with the cell phone thing.
Yes.
My kids are addicted to their cell phones like I imagine most kids are. And, so I go out of my way now, which you should do all the time anyway. But when my kids are in the car, I do not touch my cell phone because I don't want them seeing me doing that and then thinking somewhere down the road it's okay for them to do it. You worry about all this stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to make some mistakes or whatever. You just have to hope that whatever mistakes they make, don't cost them too much or whatever. But it'll drive you up the wall as a parent trying to mitigate every possible, pothole that your kids can find in life. It's just it literally will drive you insane if you let it.
Yeah, and like I said, you can try as much as you want to, but there's no way you're going to be able to protect them 100%. They're going to get out there and do stupid stuff just like me and you did.
Yeah,
which is scary.
That's the other thing. I think about all the dumb shit I did, and I'm like, my God, my kids aren't too far away from doing all that same dumb shit.
Yeah.
My dad, I have a Mustang. The reason I have a Mustang is when I was a kid, 7, 8 years old, my dad went out and bought a Mustang. It was a 1987 Fox Body 5.0. Mm-hmm. And to me, now before that, he had a Datsun pickup truck. And my mom drove an old 1970s Pontiac Grand Prix. So when I walked outside and saw that Mustang sitting in the driveway and heard that thing crank up and rode in it for the first time, to me at 7 or 8 years old, that thing was a race car to me. And I told myself then, I said, I'll have one of these one day. And my dad would never let me drive it. Every once in a while when I was 16 or 17, we were out somewhere, he'd let me drive it a little bit with him in the car. But when my senior prom, he sat me down and he was like, I'm going to let you drive the Mustang to your senior prom. He was like, I think, I know you'll be responsible, blah, blah, all that. I left the senior prom that night, and there's a road in town called Riverwatch Parkway that's probably 10 miles long, and there's a median the whole length of it. So the only way to get pulled over on Riverwatch Parkway is if you're dumb enough to pass a police officer, because they can't get you coming from the other direction. There's nowhere for them to U-turn. So unless you speed past one, you can't get a speeding ticket. And I left downtown and got on Riverwatch Parkway, and I was going so damn fast, it scared me. And so my son now is always asking about that Mustang, and I say, look, unfortunately for you, I was an idiot when I was 16, 17, and 18. So there's no way you're getting that Mustang when you turn 16. There's just no way. I'm so lucky I'm alive after having driven that thing, and I only drove it once or twice.
Yeah, I tell mine the same thing, and that's what she wants. She's a Mustang fan too, which
Yeah.
I don't know why, because we're not necessarily a Mustang household or anything, but that's what she likes. So I don't think she's going to be getting one anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, Grayson, it's just about time to wrap it up. But what do you think about Georgia's chances this year?
I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the offense. Obviously, I mean, we're freaking loaded pretty much everywhere. We've got more talent on the offensive side than any time I can really remember. Hoping the quarterback situation stays good. I like our schedule. Like I said, super optimistic about everything. I think our defense is still in really good shape. I know you got some questions about the secondary and stuff like that, but I'm hoping we'll be okay, barring the occasional bust here or there. Hopefully everything can, the defense can pull it together. But really excited about next year. I'd tell you one of the people I'm most excited to see play that I don't know. People, I hear everybody talking about other people, but Darnell Washington, I think that,
oh yeah,
I know we don't use the tight ends as much as a lot of people would like them to, but I think this guy, especially this offense we've got going, just think about him getting down the field, running some down the field routes, and being a blocker downfield for some of these speedsters we got. I just think that's a whole nother aspect of his game that he's going to be able to help out our offense and hopefully bust some explosive plays. Because I mean, you get Smith or Burton running behind him in the field, it's a good look.
Yeah, I'm optimistic too. I do think it. Not the perfect storm of events, but the schedule is favorable this year compared to last year for a couple of, there's no Alabama on the schedule this year. We draw Arkansas from over there. Auburn is rebuilding with a new coach. Florida, I think, will still be good, but I don't think they'll be as good as last year, whereas I think Georgia will be better than last year. So I like our chances there. Yeah. South Carolina, new coaching staff. Tennessee, new coaching staff. Vandy, new coaching staff, and then Kentucky and Mizzou. It seems like it works out. The thing with the secondary, I don't care how good you recruit. You take Alabama. If Alabama loses their top three corners, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
We lost our top three corners, 2 to the draft and 1 to transfer. We got a lot of talent. I mean, Keely Ringo might be the most talented corner we've recruited in a long, long time. I'm of the opinion Tyson Campbell didn't work out. I never watched Tyson Campbell play and went, there's the 5-star we signed. I was constantly disappointed in him. Maybe Keely Ringo's the guy, but he was injured. He hasn't played a single snap in college. So I get the hype around him, but he yet to play a snap. I do like Lewis Seen at safety, but the issue with that Clemson game being week 1, you've got no time. You got to have it figured out in week 1. There's no Louisiana Monroe, and we can learn the speed of the game. No, the ukulele, that quarterback they got put up 450 yards on Notre Dame in his first ever start on the road last year. Yeah, he's no joke. Justin Ross is it Justin Ross? Yeah, Justin Ross, I guess, back there. They're loaded at wide receiver. No Travis Etienne to run the ball, but I'm not worried about. I think Georgia's run defense will be probably the best we've seen in a while. Our defensive line is going to be, as a Georgia fan, I'm drooling over our defensive line because we haven't had a great defensive line. We've had, there's been years where we had one great player, but we haven't had a great defense. I think we will this year. Nakobe Dean's an All-American at inside linebacker, in my opinion. But ukulele throwing the ball concerns me in week 1. If we can get through week 1, I don't see an issue the rest of the way on the schedule until we get to Atlanta and see who we play there. But I'm probably the most optimistic heading into this season as I've ever been. I was very optimistic in the Aaron Murray years. I was very optimistic in 07 and 08. 17 came as a surprise to me, and I think a lot of people, because we were a 5-loss team the year before. in 16. So that sort of came out of nowhere. But so it's not like I had huge expectations heading into 2017. But I do have pretty big expectations for Georgia this year, and I hope they can give us the season that we want.
I hope so. I'm with you right there on the whole week 1 thing. That's the big thing to watch right now.
Yeah,
or big thing to be looking forward to anyway. So, and if we get I'm with you, if we get through with that, then I think we'd be in pretty good shape.
Yeah. Well, Grayson, it was great having you on. You have an inspirational story. I'm not just trying to patronize you or whatever. There's been a lot of comments in the comment section during your time on this morning where, people drawing inspiration from your attitude and everything. This was one of my favorite segments I've had on here in a long time. This was good. We tend to focus on a lot of negative here, with it being a trash talk channel, and I'm always complaining about something Georgia did or didn't do or whatever. And sometimes it's good to stop and realize that A, life is bigger than football, and B, no matter how rough or tough it seems like things might be going, it's never as bad as it seems. And a positive attitude will just take you a long way, and you're proof of that. I mean, you sound like a successful guy with a good job, and you had every reason in the world to basically throw your hands up and just give up, and you didn't do that. And I think a lot of people, if they listen to what you had to say, it could do a lot of people a lot of good. So thank you for coming on and being so open and honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. I enjoyed it. Like I said, enjoy the show. I hope if anything I said inspires somebody, that's great. Helps them out. That's awesome. So, like I said, appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to the slob. Before I go, I do have one question I got to ask you.
Yeah.
Got it. It's about the Slob Olympics.
Okay.
Is this going to be a family friendly environment? Should I bring everything?
I was, well, the plan, my whole family was going to come with me. Pete's whole family is still coming with him. It turns out we signed my son up for one of these traveling soccer leagues a few weeks ago, and they have a soccer tournament the same weekend as the Slob Olympics, and the tournament's not in Atlanta. So turns out I'm going to have to go. I'm going to be headed to Atlanta by myself. My wife and daughter will stay here in town to take my son to his soccer tournament. But yeah, it'll be, it'll definitely be family friendly up until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. After that, right. I don't know what certain people are doing. I don't drink. I quit drinking 5 years ago, but I'm sure I'm sure some of the guys are going to want to go out and have a good time or whatever. But I
assume that. I was more asking about the Saturday during the festivities and all that stuff.
It's going to be great. I'm so excited. I mean, the Slob Olympics is great. That'll be fun, and we get to sort of poke fun at some people who don't do well in whatever events or whatever. But the main thing is just everybody get together and hang out. And there's a lot of people coming. I think 15 or 16 people coming to compete. A bunch more people coming just to hang out. So we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. I'm looking forward to it. Gives me a good excuse to get out of the house, meet some new people. Like I said, I'm about tired of staying cooped up in the house. I know it's probably for the best, but.
So are you going to come down to downtown Atlanta on that Saturday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, I'm going up Friday. Several people are going up Friday. Some are driving into town Saturday morning. The plan for Saturday is for everybody to meet around the Centennial Park area. I'm sure you're familiar with that area. The Hall of Fame, Centennial Park, the Embassy Suites is all right there on a corner.
Yep.
A bunch of us are staying at Embassy Suites, which is across the street from the Hall of Fame. So we're going to meet basically right outside the Embassy Suites around 10:30.
All right.
And just go from there. And we're going to tour the Hall of Fame probably around 3 o'clock. And not that it matters to you, but number 13 on this list here, Michael Vick, also finds himself in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm a Mike Vick supporter. So
yeah, me too. I love Mike Vick.
I'll be there cheering him on Saturday.
Well, good, Grayson. I look forward to meeting you up there then. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Sounds good.
Thanks for coming on.
You have a good one.
You too.
I appreciate you having me.
All right, go Dogs. That was good. I didn't know. I didn't really know that guy that well, other than seeing him in the comment section a few times. I'm glad he emailed and wanted to come on. You guys come on too. Send me an email. CrazyUncleLou@gmail.com. CrazyUncleLou@gmail.com. Slim, I'll be up there about 3 o'clock on Friday. I can't check into the hotel till 3 o'clock. I'm going to leave Augusta right after lunch, about 12 or 12:30. That'll put me getting to the Embassy Suites around 2:30 or 3, depending on traffic or if I have to stop or whatever. I don't think there are any set in stone plans for Friday. Everybody is kind of straggling into Atlanta. The ones that are coming on Friday, everybody is kind of straggling in at different times. Like I said, I'll be there probably right around 3. Get checked into the hotel, and then I'm just gonna hang out there until I hear from other people that are in town, and then whatever. I mean, I'm sure those of us that are there will go out to eat somewhere on Friday, but I don't know where or what time or anything like that. But I don't think I have your phone number, Slim. If you'll email me, Slim, I'll send you my phone number, and you can text me or call me or something when you get into Atlanta on Friday, and we'll meet up or whatever. A couple other people have done that, emailed me their phone number to meet up on that Friday when they come in. So if you want to do that, that might be the easiest thing to do. I forget where you're staying, but I don't think it's the Embassy Suites, but I think it's somewhere near there. But so you're probably doing the same thing I'm doing. You're probably, getting checked into your hotel and then just waiting to see what's going on. So once you get checked in and all that, just give me a call or send me a text message or something. Oh, you are staying at Embassy. Oh, great. Okay. Well, I'll meet you there at the Embassy then. Yeah, just let me know when you're there. I don't know if you've ever stayed at an embassy. They're all basically the same on the inside, but it's a huge open area on the inside with all kinds of seating down in the lobby, bars, restaurants, TVs everywhere. It's a great place to just kind of hang out, group of people, so we're not all crowded into a hotel room. So we can all hang out, figure out what we're going to do. People be straggling in. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great to get to meet all you guys. I'm trying to think, have I met anybody? I've met Brett. I've met Big Dog Brett. I've met Celine Driver. That's it. As far as the people that are coming that I can think of right now. I have not met any of these other people. So it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun to hang out for the weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Saw somebody in the comments section earlier talking about Dogecoin to the moon. Yeah. If 5.5 cents is the moon, then you're well on your way. I did make some money on Dogecoin, but I got out. I bought it at 4.5 cents and sold it at 8 cents. And then I got out. But I'm not going to lie. Well, first of all, I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. Nothing at all. I don't know anything about Dogecoin. I don't know anything about Bitcoin. I know nothing about it. And I'm not a financial advisor. But everybody was doing the Dogecoin thing first of all, everybody was doing the GameStop thing. And so I bought some of that. And I got nervous and sold it. I think I bought it for $12.96 a share and sold it for $13.08 a share. So I didn't make much money, but I didn't lose any. Then I bought Dogecoin and just about doubled my money in like 2 days. So I sold it. And I just got lucky there because I sold it at I think it got to 9 cents at one point, but I sold it at 8 or 8.5. And had bought it for 4.5, so I almost doubled my money there. And I got out, so I made some good money there. But yesterday I sunk some money into Bitcoin. Never bought Bitcoin before. Like I said, I don't know anything about this cryptocurrency, but kind of like when I gamble on college football, I didn't put any amount of money in there that if I lose it, I'll be homeless or anything like that. I put a couple of bucks in there, $1 or $2, $1 or $2. I put into Bitcoin, mainly because I'm just tired of seeing everybody type about it everywhere. And like when you go on Facebook, everybody's a millionaire now because of Bitcoin. So they say, Oh man, so glad I bought all that Bitcoin back when it was $10,000 or whatever. Now it's 50,000. Oh my God. I'm so smart. You know, everybody, how much of it is true or not, I don't know. So I did put some money in Bitcoin yesterday. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I have no idea. I get so nervous when I do. If I make $100, I'll probably sell it. I just get so. And the thing about Bitcoin that I figured out, and Dogecoin too, that's different than regular stocks that you buy. You know, the stock market has a time that it operates, whatever it is, 9:30 to 4. And then they have pre-market and aftermarket. So basically it's like 6:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. But then after that, that's it. So at 8 o'clock, if whatever stock I own is worth $10, I can go to sleep. I don't have to worry. With this Bitcoin and Dogecoin, there are no time. It never stops. So you can go to sleep at night and have $5,000 worth of Bitcoin and wake up in the morning and have $2,000 worth of Bitcoin. Like you could have lost it all while you were sleeping. It's very nerve-wracking, at least to me. Maybe it's because I don't do this that much. You know, I've always done 401ks and IRAs and stuff like that where I just donate to a firm and I don't even know what they do with the money. They invest it. They do whatever they do. You know, TD Ameritrade or whatever it is. It's very nerve-wracking to actually buy a stock. And then infinitely more nerve-wracking when you're doing Dogecoin or Bitcoin or something like that, because the markets for that stuff never close. You know? So, like, I bought that Bitcoin yesterday. When I whatever, you know, I don't know, $2,000. If I had $2,000 worth of Bitcoin when I went to sleep last night, and I could have woke up this morning and only had $500 worth, or I could have woke up and had $10,000. You know, it's very nerve wracking, and it's probably just because I've never done this before, and I you know. But anyway, that's that. I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate y'all tuning in this morning. Big shout out to Grayson for coming on the show this morning. I really enjoyed talking with him. I hope I can have him on again. Maybe have him on again sometime during the season and really talk more football. I feel like we didn't talk much football today with him, but got some in at the end. But it seems like a really good guy. Excited to meet him on Saturday, too. All right, Slim, I got you, buddy. Thank you. I hear you. K5 says he's got some Bitcoin, too, and he's a little confused. I get the idea. Okay, it's an alternate currency, and it's a digital currency. And there's only so much Bitcoin available. They can't make more. It's not like money where we can just print more, which causes inflation or deflation. And the value of the dollar versus an ounce of gold, or the value of a dollar versus the euro, it's always changing and going up and down. There's only so many Bitcoins, but I don't know what. Let's say I owned every Bitcoin on earth. What could I buy? I get that one Bitcoin is basically 50 grand right now. It fluctuates up and down during the day, but one Bitcoin is basically $50,000. Okay, so if I had, can I take a Bitcoin to Publix? No. So I don't really understand it. I don't really understand it. So I'm not buying Bitcoin as an investment. And I'm not telling anybody else what to do or not to do. I'm buying Bitcoin because everyone is talking about it, and I just like being in on the deal. I don't even know what the deal is. And like I said, if I wake up tomorrow and I've made $100 or $500 or whatever on my Bitcoin, I'm likely to sell it because I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I just have no idea what I'm doing. So anyway, appreciate y'all tuning in. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah, I'll be back tonight, 10 o'clock for the call-in show. The championship game for the worst of the worst playoffs will be Thursday. Remember, we're doing those every Thursday. So tonight we just have the call-in show from 10 to 11. I'm working on another video for today. I've been trying to ramp back up to doing the uploaded videos more consistently. I did one on Friday. I did one yesterday. I got another one I've been working on for a day or two. I'm going to try to get it finished today. That will be really 3 days in a row I did a video if you don't count the weekend. I need to get back to uploading videos on a more consistent basis. I get burned out at the end of every college football season, and I really slacked off on uploading videos really all of January and the first half of February. I managed to keep the live shows going without a problem, but I just got a little bit burned out and took a longer break than I planned, really, from uploading videos. I uploaded a few here or there, but not on a consistent basis, and that's not acceptable to me. So I'm trying to ramp back up to that. So I had the comments video come out on Friday. Yesterday, I put out the list of things that irritate me video. I forgot how fun those were to do, because I don't make a lot of notes when I do those videos. Outside of listing what I'm going to talk about, I don't make any other notes. I just start ranting and raving about whatever it is. So, like, what was on the list yesterday? Comcast, excuse makers. What else was on the list yesterday? Bicyclists in the road. People who think Olive Garden is an Italian restaurant. It was a lot of fun to do that. And because of the internet issues I was having yesterday, I had the video done pretty early. By lunchtime, I had the video done, but I had to wait on Comcast to fix my internet before I could upload it. So it ended up not being uploaded till about 7 o'clock, I think, last night. So if you didn't catch the video yesterday and you like the Uncle Lou videos where I yell and scream and rant and rave, you should check it out, because there's plenty of yelling and screaming and ranting and raving in that list of things that irritates me video that I did yesterday. I think it's the fifth. I think that was the fifth one of those that I've done. And if you look in the description of that video, there's a link to the playlist that'll take you to, I think, the other 4 that I did too. So if you watch the list of things that irritates me video from yesterday and you enjoy it, click that playlist and you can check out the other 4 that I've done. I think the first one of those that I did was way back in 2014. So this is a series that's been going on for 6 or 7 years now. The list of things that irritates me. So, but anyway, I love you guys. I do appreciate y'all tuning in. No morning show tomorrow, but we'll be back here Thursday morning at 8 a.m. We'll get Chess Hall. I'll see if I can get Chess Hall on Thursday for the traffic report, since it was my fault, not Chess's. So I know, I know Chess's history with not showing up and blah, 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 and people like to rag on him about it. This was on me yesterday. There was nothing I could do. Chess was ready to go yesterday. So that was on me. So we're not holding this one against him here. So if he wants to come on Thursday and do the traffic report, he can. Or if he just wants to wait till next Monday, he can do that too. It's up to him. We'll get it figured out. But I love you guys. I'll be back for the morning show Thursday at 8, and I'll see you all hopefully tonight at 10 p.m. for Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. Have a great day.